Hello and welcome back to Berwick Saga. In this video we're going to cover Sidequest 2.1, in which I'm going to be praising the hell out of Arthur and complaining about Ruby constantly. So let's go. The first thing to do is to pick up the rewards for all of the civilian requests that we completed in the last chapter. There's some money from killing Valentine, and there's also a killing edge that is going to come in handy a bit down the track, not so much in this map. We also have some shopping to do. Ruby is in need of a small shield so that she can start the work of building up her small shield rank for her eventual promotion. This is annoying because she has 0 base small shield rank. She also has the Axebane skill, which is an active detriment when you're trying to raise shield rank, because you can't raise shield rank unless you get hit, and if there are lots of axes around, Ruby is almost certainly not going to get hit. I'm also picking up a new iron axe for Dean, because his current one is getting a little low on durability, and we're going to assign the Sign-On Stallion that we got in the last map to Leon. It's not going to be of any use in this video because this side quest is an indoor map, but it's going to come in useful in future. The most important thing to do though is to hire Arthur, and I know I called him mediocre last time he showed up, but this isn't quite true thanks to Hurry, which I did mention and praise. It turns out that Hurry comes in a lot more useful in movement-based maps where you don't risk getting berserked by the boss if you try and get too close to him. Anyway, let's talk about the upcoming map. This side quest is a seas map, and that means that we need to be focused on mobility here. Since Reese isn't recruitable, any of my units can seize. But it also has that characteristic one-tile-wide corridor design that I complained a lot about when it showed up back in Champions of Utena. And Arthur is the one who saved me from losing turns to this design, because it's really unreliable to kill enemies when they initiate combat in this game, and obviously I can't just kill them on player phase to block up the corridor because there aren't phases in this game. In other words, the design of this chapter really works against the design of this game overall as far as finding a low turn strategy goes. So in addition to the usual deployment suspects, we also get Zine voice deployed on this map, because we have some locks to pick, and I'll come to that shortly, but to start with, let's talk about the strategy for this first turn. This first enemy starts in the corridor, and we need to get him out of the way of the units that we're sending towards the boss. So I start by baiting him out using Leon, and either this enemy has to move to the upper right of Leon, or he needs to get counterattacked by Leon due to missing, otherwise there's no way to remove him sufficiently quickly. Because he managed to get hit by Leon, we are able to chip him down and feed the kill to Ruby, starting her training arc off. Unfortunately, Ruby's accuracy is complete ass, and that means that she's even more frustrating to train because she needs to land pretty much all of her inaccurate hits to get the experience that she needs. Now, we had to get that guy out of the way on this turn in order for both Volo, who is going to be the boss killer, and Arthur to get their full movement on this turn. You'll notice that they were also placed in the furthest forward deployment slots, showing just how tight their movement requirements are. In fact, both of them have to use their full movement every single turn in this map in order to get where they need to be by the end of it for the lowest possible turn clear. To make this go off smoothly on these first 2 turns, they had to wait until near the end of the turn, on turn 1, and then Arthur needed to hurry both then and immediately at the start of turn 2 in order to bait the enemies in the central area away from blocking that corridor and preventing Volo from getting his full movement. Now, You'll notice in the upper left of the map there are some horses that are locked up. We could get these by getting Zine over there. However, she takes at least 6 turns to reach the first one, and this map is going to be cleared in only 5 turns. So they are going to have to be left in prison, unfortunately, because that means that we don't get them and I have to keep buying horses. And Zine is instead going to head south for the chest room. Now, as with turn 1, on turn 3, Volo and Arthur need to delay their movement until late in the turn in order to prevent some enemies in the boss room from blocking the second 1-tile wide corridor that they have to pass through. Volo does Arthur's trick from turns 1 and 2 of moving at the end of turn 3 and the start of turn 4 in order to get out of that narrow corridor as quickly as possible. He then sets about killing one of the enemies in the boss room in order to free up some space so that he and Arthur can continue to move unimpeded. The rest of my units have now been left behind and are irrelevant to getting the main objective of this chapter from here on out. They are now there pretty much just to feed kills to Ruby and help Zine get to the treasure room. Volo takes an awful lot of damage on this turn, which is pretty bad because Volo has to face the boss soon, but it turns out to be okay. It just looks very scary and demonstrates how unreliable this strat can be overall. Fortunately, he at least manages to not die to these scrubs, so that's something. Sylvis is now going to move up, and she is going to get an opportunistic kill, which I did not really plan for. There is an archer in the boss room, and where Sylvis lands is just within his range. This ends up being a positive though, because as mentioned in previous videos, Sylvis is one of those units who has to get to level 10 in order to be permanently recruited. So we take the serendipitous kills on her. Ruby is also picking up her second and last kill on this map. She has a really long way to go, and her stats suck, and I really hate having to train her. So, yeah. Again, I'm so sorry any Ruby fans, but she's just garbage. Zine is waiting until the enemies in the treasure chest room have used their turns before opening the door, because she also needs to be unblocked on the next turn in order to open the chest that I want her to get there. Arthur is now hurrying over near the throne that we need to seize, and you'll notice that even if he was able to seize after using the hurry command, he would not have sufficient movement to take the throne on this turn. And given that he is my highest movement unit on this indoor map, that means that there is no way to clear this map any faster than I do here, which I'm pretty pleased about. The turn 5 save point lets me complete this map on turn 5, even though Volo is really damaged, because I can just freely retry. Sylvis is moving in and shooting the enemy mercenary. This will cause him to retreat to heal instead of killing Volo, and Sylvis's presence is also a distraction. This is to maximize the reliability of Volo's survival after facing the boss, which he is about to do. Even though he has only 5 HP remaining and a meager 51 listed hit against the boss, he is still up to the task due to being extremely powerful and also me just getting lucky by using the save point to repeatedly reroll. And this boss is actually strong enough that Volo is going to gain experience points for the first time in this entire run, so that's pretty cool too. With the main objective wide open, we can now turn our attention to the chests. Leon is also going to go for a deathmatch round in order to remove an enemy from the chest that we want Zine to open. This chest contains the Karn Winhao dagger, and I'd say it's marginally better than the other chest in this context, because the other chest contains a heal orb, and I've barely been using Azurna. I think her heal orb currently has been used exactly once in this whole run, so I don't think that losing a heal is a big deal compared to receiving the special Carn Wenhao dagger, which Zine is going to be able to put to some good use. And that pretty much wraps up the whole map. All that is left to do is for Ruby to have a go at one of these enemies. The purpose of this is to give her a chance at picking up some equipment experience, because she doesn't only have to grind up her shield rank, she also has to grind up her weapon ranks. And so Arthur is free to seize and complete this side quest in 5 turns. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.